What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, and welcome to Lactic Acid. I'm your host, Dominic Smith, and today we're actually kicking off a special series we're talking to some special people who did something. To say that it's amazing would be an understatement, and I say this in the best way possible. It's one of the most insane things that a human could decide to do, and that is to run the Boston Marathon twice. And these legends did that. Today, we're kicking it off from, they tell us there once was a man from Nantucket, but we're changing it. There once was a legend from Nantucket who dwelt among us, does things better than you could even dream of doing. Baller, shot caller, has the running game on lock as well as the set, as well as the trail scene. And guess what? He is our guest today, brother Dave Denoyer. What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Dom? Thanks for having me.
Listen, I'm thinking about you running Boston twice, and I have lactic acid in my legs just thinking about it, man. That's crazy and
Yeah,
everything.
well, I don't know if I was pushing that hard, but it sure felt like a long day, I can tell you that.
A long day. Well, I mean, to give some clarity, these wonderful people started at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
So, while we were in REM sleep, they were out here running the streets of Boston. We're going to talk about that journey. And you're probably wondering, what kind of shoes did this brother wear? We're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to be inspired. It's going to either, I always say this episode is either going to make you want to run or it's going to make you hate running. There's no in between, but we definitely hope that it is the former. We hope that this episode inspires you to get on your feet and move, whether it be the trails. And Dave's actually a coach too. He's an endurance coach.
Yes,
Uh,
Tidal Endurance. That's the
so
name.
if you are looking for somebody to help you get to that potential, go see my man Dave. Clearly, he knows what he's doing because he ran Boston twice with no injuries in one day, less than 12 hours, too. So, listen, all thriller, no filler. That's how we roll on the show. We kind of go a little differently when it comes to the intro questions, so you are no exception to the rules. So, you've done something wonderful, something amazing, and you're going to be celebrated for it. So they're going to do an entire kind of promotional ordeal in your honor. So there are going to be two things that are done for you. The first thing, you get a chance when athletes do something amazing, they get put on a Wheaties box.
Mm.
But Wheaties is too good for you unless you really like Wheaties. But you get a chance to pick any cereal box that you want to be featured on,
Hmm.
especially after this amazing accomplishment. The second thing, you get a chance. So in Massachusetts, in the Northeast, Dunkin Donuts is kind of the Mac Daddy when it comes to all thing coffee and donuts and all that. You get a chance to create your own donut.
Oh.
You can create your own donut, and it's going to be a hot commodity the rest of the spring through the summer. So I need the Wheaties box. I need the donut.
So if I had to pick cereal, I mean, it may be boring, but I'd probably go with chocolate checks just because I eat it by the handful. It's, it's a nice little tasty treat to have after a run while I'm having a Coca-Cola or something. But that would be my pick would be chocolate checks just because I fully endorse that.
Listen, man.
And for a type of donut, I mean, I really like the blueberry ones. Blueberry glaze is probably my favorite. So some variation of that with a sprinkle, I'd probably want them to name that after me if I could make that happen.
What are we going to name it though?
Oh, I mean, you would have to call it the like the double unicorn or something
The double unicorn.
tangentially related, right?
Okay, I was going to call it the Denoyer Destroyer, but I like the double unicorn.
Oh, I don't, my ego doesn't need that.
Hey, listen, it's facts. Like they taught us in journalism school, the truth never expires, and the truth is, you about that life, brother. So no, it's nothing. It's nothing out of the realm of facts. A blueberry. So here's the thing. I don't know if the Dunkins in Orlando are different than the Dunkins where you are, but I've
Mm.
never seen a blueberry
I think they call them
kind.
sour cream sometimes, but a lot of times they have little blueberries in them and they're frosted. Yeah.
Let me just say something. This may cause controversy. Let me quickly go back to the cereal. Chocolate checks, different.
Okay.
Regular checks, I've never been with it, but I forgot this was. I forgot I had some chocolate checks somewhere. I didn't have any milk with it, and I was like, oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
this is kind of different.
It's
Like
a good add to the trail mix. They're high in iron, so like it's a good add overall for pretty much everybody.
they're addictive though.
Yeah.
Like you don't need like if you're going on a run and we talk nutrition and all of that stuff. And listen, if you're looking for nutrition, Nukes, we get a discount with lactic acid. You'll hear about that later. But that's for everybody. But Dave's cool too, so I had to let him know in addition to you guys. But it actually hits, like especially after or between, like if you have a double or something like that.
Hmm.
Some of those dry cereals, man. And then you do the Coca-Cola too. That's been the funny thing we've been talking about. There's a lot of people who will do like a Coca-Cola after, but you kind of get it because it gives you all that sugar back,
Totally. Yeah, it's a
that you
huge
lost.
mood booster too. Like it just gives you a little kick. So great to have on deck.
Are you like a regular Coke guy or Coca-Cola guy, or you kind of mix it up with like the vanilla, the cherry,
No,
the
just
Coke Zero?
straightforward Coca-Cola. If I can, I'll go for the imported ones, but really, whatever it is in a pinch. Full
I
sugar
have
all the way.
okay. I have not drank a soda since I was in middle school.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I'm 32, so that, oh my gosh. Just playing football, it gets hot in Florida, and it was a cherry Coke. I had a
Yeah.
cherry
Oh yeah.
Coke.
That's a great flavor.
Yep, it's great. And the ground got a chance to be hydrated because on the first day of pass, I got pads, I got hit, and I felt that Coke come back up. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, okay, let's
Not as good the
just
second time.
not as good the second time around,
No.
but
No.
I'm taking your word for it on how it
Yeah.
tastes because I haven't had a Coke since.
Yeah, no, I didn't come back into soda until I started leaning back into endurance running. And then you realize like, oh, I'm thirsty anyways. I might as well get some carbs with it.
Might as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of the
Yep.
same as some of the other things too
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
drink.
I mean, if Des is out there having beers on the course, what's a Coca-Cola between friends, you know?
Yeah, like cheers to that. Coca-Cola sponsor us because
Yeah.
well, you got to sponsor Dave. I don't drink Coca-Cola anymore, but Dave is the best ambassador that you can get that is drinking.
Yeah.
So, um, but man, this is controversial. Sour cream donuts are the best donuts on the planet, in
Okay.
in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Hmm.
It's there's just something about it. I don't
Hmm.
know. It's very versatile. I know I feel the disagreement, and that's okay because I'm always interested to hear good donut flavors. I haven't had a good donut in years, but a
Hmm.
sour cream donut is the way to my heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to pop into Dunkin's. You know it's good there.
You see, I feel like Dunkins are subjective because it just depends on who's the baker.
Totally. I'm just being, the New England guy, right? Like you have to be the
S-
spokesman. You have to be the
There's
spokesperson.
there's so many things I have to go up there and try. Like I'm so curious about a lobster roll.
Hmm.
There are places in
Classic.
Florida who say they have like the New England style. Like we have a place called Boston Harbor.
Hmm.
Amazing seafood. But in Florida in general, obviously, being near the coast has, great seafood. Um, but I'm like, I don't know. The way you guys hype up those lobster rolls is like there's something different about it. It's like that Celtics team that won the championship but couldn't sniff it ever since.
Yep. Yeah.
And everything.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
that team.
It's the New England hype, you know. It's something about having a lobster roll in the summertime out by the water. It's an atmosphere thing. It's all kinds of stuff folded into like sense memories. So I think that's how people really love to hype it up, you know. But that's how I feel about certain races, right? Like I have so many sense memories tied up into those things that like, yeah, you can't help but be stoked about things.
Well, in regards to being stoked about things, we're stoked about your performance at Boston. So just to give some clarity, there was a group of seven runners um, with Mount the Coast. Shout out to Mount the Coast. They have some shoes. We're going to talk about the shoes in a second, but they embarked on a journey that no man has ever embarked on before. They ran Boston, the Boston Marathon course, twice. Once early in the morning, had a nice little halftime break. Then they ran it again. And they killed it, to say the least. Dave was one of those legends who embarked on that journey. So before we even like break it down, tell me about it from your own words. What was that like accomplishing something so major? If I'm not mistaken, you started running marathons in 2017.
Yeah.
Did you ever
Yep.
think that this would happen?
No, I mean, it's been a long road. Just to get to the start line in Boston has been a long road. But if I can really start at the beginning of there is actually a history to the Boston Double. Ultra runners and trail runners in New England have been doing this for almost 30 years. It just has not had the backing of a major company to kind of put together a team to do it. It's always just been sporadic runners who are running Boston and they're like, okay, let's do a double. Um, what Mount to Coast did was they were working with a event group called the Trail Animals Run Club, who basically reached out and said, "Hey, is anybody doing Boston this year?" on Instagram to any of their followers and said, "If you're interested in doing a double, let us know." And so I was one of those people that said, like, I'll throw my hat in the ring. If we're going to do it as a group, that's a lot more enticing than taking that on as a solo effort. And it was after that they had gotten five or six core runners from the Trail Animals Run Club that they let us know that Mount to Coast was going to come in and kind of support this effort. And so that's part of why this feels like it's a team that's doing this together, and that it also is like reaching places that previously had unheard of this thing called the Boston Double or Double Boston, or some people call it the Boston Yo-Yo because you're doing it as an out and back. Um, but it is something that has existed in New England Ultra for at least 30 years. If you go on Trail Animals Running Club's website, they have a history written out of people who have done the double and what their back half, like recorded Boston times were, um, posted right on the website. Um, so I don't want to take credit for this being, going to the moon and totally untrodden territory. We were kind of a group of people who have raced with trail animals before, and then we kind of came together and very quickly became friends. And now coming away from that, I feel like we've made real connections and we've like very seriously bonded. Um, having that whole experience and having Mount to Coast support that is just so hugely formative. It was really incredible.
So thank you
Um,
for the history lesson. Every
yeah.
now and then, I had to get fact checked. So my,
No,
my
no, no.
apologies
It's
to
it's I, it's
the.
not in an effort to correct. I just people have to know that like this is a
Oh yeah,
thing. Mount to Coast didn't kind of pull it out of thin air.
right.
It is a thing that's happened before. One of the guys in the group this year actually did a double solo in 23 where he didn't have that like Hopkinton support and
Right.
turnover. Um, so, anyways, I believe your question was kind of about where I started and if I thought I was going to end up somehow doing this. Absolutely not. My first marathon was in 2017. I ran the New Hampshire Marathon, which is around a lake up there, and it had a whole bunch of hills I was not prepared for. Because I live on Nantucket and it's pretty flat here. It's basically a sand dune. And something about that experience and racing and having to bargain with yourself in those late race miles and really push and really dig deep and have people come up behind you and kind of bring you along and give you their enthusiasm was just something that, obviously sticks with me because that's what keeps you coming back. I did my first ultra marathon the following spring. I went down to Cape Fear in North Carolina and did the Badwater Cape Fear 50K. Um, and I did pretty well there. That I was able to train for because it was mostly on the sand. And so I was able to do a lot of sand work here and get prepared for that. Um, and then I have done a few marathons here and there. I did my first 50 miler in, I believe it was actually later in 2018. And I've dabbled in triathlon a little bit. But my longest ultra to date was I did a 12-hour last fall in New Hampshire called the Hamster Wheel, and I notched 100K, so 64 miles there.
Again, this is
Yeah.
going to make people fall in love with running, or is this going to?
Well, it gets me excited. It gets me out of bed. I like doing the work. I like seeing progress, and that's what chasing the start line in Boston is all about. Like
Oh
just
yeah.
seeing if you can chip away over years. Anything's possible over a certain amount of time. You just have to put your head down and do the work. And that's what I love about running, the community and just like the work ethic that comes along with it.
How much fun did you have just in total? And you mentioned something, um, the team effort,
Hmm.
which I'm glad you did because it was seven of you, and it was just such a. I remember getting the emails and then it's getting the notifications, but also seeing the pictures. You could
Mm,
see on the pictures just, and obviously you experienced, and correct me if I'm wrong, there seemed to be an immense level of joy
mm,
and
hmm.
just unity. Obviously that Boston brings, but it didn't seem like it was just individuals running. It seemed like it was truly a group effort, and all of you guys seem to be enjoying the experience.
Absolutely. So the seven core trail animals were also supported by numerous other pacers on the way out to Hopkinton. Too many to really name. There was at least 25 people going out and we had a support van and it was just but the stoke was really high and it was really interesting to like leave the finish line and leave the city and have it get darker and quieter as you were going out and then the sun comes up. But it really just felt like a long run with friends. You know, we all became very fast friends and it's an early morning, it's dark outside, nobody's awake. And it was just a long run with friends. So we all basically stuck together on that first leg all the way out to Hopkinton. And we got a great picture right at the start line, right as they were trying to like get us out of the way because they were closing the roads and getting everything ready because they're turning that whole place around in hours. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think we built an immense camaraderie in that process. I won't take credit for it, but one of the guys who ran with us, his name is Bill Dittman, and he said something in one of his posts on socials about how the double isn't about one-upping the marathon. The double is about appreciating both sides of the marathon, and one is long, quiet, early miles with friends, and the other is a crazy race day where you just get pulled along and you see what happens and you roll the dice. And I thought that that was an unbelievable way to describe the experience. And I feel like I've grown a lot just having gone through that for sure.
That's such a profound statement,
Yeah, yeah,
when you think about it, because it takes the competitive edge out of it. Because it just is a long run. You're just out
yep,
there, uh,
yep,
just chilling, just cruising
yep.
and
We had
everything.
planned ahead of time to stay together, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Having done it that way, we all hit our aid station stops on the way out, and everybody was just laughing and telling stories, and that's how you get to know people. That's what I love about running is the community. That's what brings you back, you know?
How do you prepare the day before? Like, what time did you have to go to bed? What time did you have to kind of get the process started? Obviously, getting it, up and going at 3 o'clock in the morning ahead of the marathon.
Sure. So, the day before, we had a meeting at the team house, and we actually did a little shakeout. I think we did like 3.5 miles the day before. We went down the Esplanade and went to the half shell and took a picture on the river there. And then we had a little event we had to go to, a Marathon Sports. And then there was a 3 o'clock dinner reservation with my family. And then I wanted to be asleep by 6. And it was a funny story because we actually had to change hotel. We got back to the hotel after dinner and I realized that our door wasn't locking properly. Like you could just push it open. You didn't even need the key to tap the handle or anything. And so I called down to engineering. They're like, "Oh, we got to move you." So the night before the race at 5 o'clock, when I'm trying to be in bed at 6, we had to get all of our stuff moved to another room on another floor, and I was still in bed by 6 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it actually was probably good to be preoccupied with that instead of like replaying everything about the next morning over and over and over again. Um, so yeah, bedtime was 6. I probably actually fell asleep by 8, and then I woke up at 2 and just started like first thing, get the coffee going. Then it's oats, banana, electrolytes, and just, fill the bottles, get the stuff organized, and get out the door. I gave myself about an hour. We were only staying 2 blocks away from the finish, so I was able to get there within a matter of minutes.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I
I
mean, there were people in the group that had to drive in from out of town, and they were waking up before 1 and having to come in and do all that. So we set it up pretty well.
That's perfect. Yeah, because that could be a
Yeah,
hassle just to try to,
totally,
you
totally.
know, get everything, but you were able to get fed and coffee. I'm learning and running. You see, I haven't really gone on the caffeine running train. I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
Um, Never have, just never been good with it, but I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like
Do you take caffeinated gels at all when you're out running? No,
mm-mm.
not at all.
I
Okay.
got the word. I had heart palpitations the first time I had coffee.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so I was like, but at the same time, the caffeinated gels is something that I'm like, okay, maybe we could experiment with this.
Yep.
Specifically because you can control the caffeine that you take.
Right. You're almost like you can take portions and kind of control the levels. Yeah.
The problem is, like, I have a race. By the time this airs, the race will have passed on Saturday,
Okay. Yeah.
where it's expected to be 91 degrees.
Ooh.
So I'm like, I don't know if I want to, have caffeine
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
experiment with that.
Yep.
So it's like, well, we'll save that for the later cycles and everything. But
Yeah.
I get it. I understand. It gives you that extra boost that kind of gets you up and going.
Yeah. And if you're used to it, it's kind of just becomes part of the routine. And so like I do see people maybe not using it correctly during a marathon effort and trying to time it and figure out how long it takes before it hits your system and then how long it actually lasts in your system and things like that. There's definitely some specifics, but as far as like getting up in the morning, there's no replacement for me. It just gets the day
Gosh.
going. So even if
What
it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee before I leave.
what brand of coffee are you rocking?
Oh, that was like hotel room coffee, but
Oh, okay. Man,
that wasn't anything fancy.
I was trying to get you a Folgers
Yeah,
commercial
yeah,
endorsement.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that'd be good.
Literally the best part of waking up. That may interfere with this Folgers in your cup. Y'all may
That's
be too
it.
young to know about all that.
Yeah.
But that would interfere with what we're trying to get with Dunkin' too.
Yeah,
But
right. Yeah, that just circles back to Dunkin'. See, I just needed some Dunkin'. Our first Dunkin' stop was at mile 10. So that's when I was able to buy a sixer of donuts and, that was worth it.
so you were eating donuts on the course, like as you were running?
Yeah, on the way out. So they had prearranged stops with a support van that had bottles and kind of drops for people. And so we had figured out where those places were going to be, and two of those three stops are actually at or right across the street from Dunkin's. So we were able to run in, use the bathroom. I went in and grabbed 6 donuts, and I was forcing people to eat food. I'm like, you can't eat gels this early. You have to eat real food. It's a long day. You can't do that to your stomach. So and it was good. They were gone. I got everybody fed.
There you see, listen,
Yeah.
this is coach speak
Yeah.
and everything. Just making sure the squad is taken
Got to
care
bring
of.
everybody with you.
Yeah, you can't leave him behind. A good
Yeah.
soldier never leaves a man behind. Heard
Yeah.
that on Toy
No,
Story.
and these are all like varsity level ultra marathoners that are doing this stuff. These people have credentials much deeper than mine. I kind of felt like, oh wow, I'm here. This is crazy. Look at you guys. So, it was a lot of fun to get to know people on a real level and the only time we would have bumped into each other in the past would have been at these trail animals races. And at that point, we would have been racing against each other. And so there was none of that component whatsoever for this experience. And so we were able to really connect as friends.
That's the beauty of running, though.
Yeah.
Just you
Yeah.
start as strangers and now you leave as friends.
Yeah.
This is nothing compared to what they just did. But I was thinking about like Artemis, the the adventure, not adventure, but just that whole
Yeah, the shuttle
voyage,
and the moon.
the
Yeah, the
shuttle.
moon. Yep.
But just to
Orbit.
think how four of them, you know, came together for something so wonderful, and you see all the footage from space and all the videos and the close-knit bond. Obviously, you guys didn't do that. We we stayed on Earth, but
Yeah.
it's just the power of human connection,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just how different things are able to bring that about. So you guys had a 2 hour and 45-minute break.
Hmm.
And I remember earlier you were telling me you used the recovery boots and everything of that nature.
Sure. Sure. So Lynn from Mount to Coast, he did the first leg with us and he was out there in Hopkinton with us. They had a whole list of everybody had a list of wants, a grocery list and all that, and they did their best to get the Hopkinton house stocked. So we walked in and there was a whole hydration station with coconut water and ginger ale and Coca-Cola and Gatorades. There was two sets of recovery boots that we were able to get everybody cycled in and out of. And I believe most of us took advantage of the fact that we were able to like hop in the shower real quick because that's
Yeah.
like and brush our teeth and like feel like you're restarting your day because mentally it
Hmm.
separates the two efforts. And I would highly recommend that if anybody finds themselves that opportunity, just brushing your teeth kind of resets your brain and you're like, okay, it's a new day, let's move. Um, Lynn made some ramen for everybody. We had breakfast sandwiches. We had all kinds like bananas and bagels and just everything ready to get like as reloaded as possible. Um, and then yeah, it was just kind of a waiting game. Top yourself off, relax, put your legs up on the wall, get in the boots. And yeah, people were just chatting the whole time. There was a few other people coming in and out of the house. It wasn't like a quiet situation. You weren't really able to get a nap in or anything, so you were just kind of waiting it out, watching the pre-race coverage on TV while you're like, okay, we're getting ready to go out the door. And the house was maybe a half a mile away from the start, so we had a few guys, myself included. We pulled back to a kind of common corral where most of us could get together out the door, and we tried to spend a little time together before the race, got a start line photo, and then got swept away down the madness of the hills. It's just wow. I mean, unbelievable experience. Really
Were
great.
you guys able to hang out after?
So we all were able to regroup back at the team house, and maybe some people missed some other people, but I was able to make sure I was able, get up with everybody afterwards. And funny enough, I'm coming around off com, turning right onto Hereford, and one of the guys comes up right next to me, Jonathan Western comes up right next to me and he's like, Dave. And I'm like, looked over, like, no way. After this amount of time, I've been by myself for, I don't know, maybe since mile 6 or 7, right? After all this time, he's right next to me, and we both got to take the final turn together and go down Boylston together. And it was just like, it was perfect. It was like a Hollywood script.
Oh
Um,
man,
yeah, yeah, it was phenomenal. And we had some other guys team up along the way and kind of support each other and pair off. And so, yeah, everybody had a blast.
this feels like a Hallmark movie that we're that we're
Yeah,
describing.
I mean, it really felt that way. You knew that it was special while it was happening.
Yeah.
And we all were talking about it like, man, this is incredible. Like, we are so lucky, and you guys are so great, and this is so great. Like, we were all just, bubbly about the whole thing. It was,
So we're gonna get off running for a second, and then our
Mhm.
um final questions will be about the shoes that you guys ran in,
Yep,
as well as training in Nantucket.
sure.
Um, because it's not the hills and mountains that people would be accustomed to. But what are three things that people do not know about the legend that is Brother Dave Denoyer?
Three things people might not know about me.
Fun
Um,
facts.
so um I did a date I de debuted my Ironman last year, so I've been dabbling in triathlon for a couple years, which is a big part of how we train out here. At least that's how I train. I try to do multi-sport. which is a new thing for me over the past few years. And I did a debut iron last year down in Maryland and um, had a phenomenal experience. Really enjoyed that. I would recommend multi-sport to anyone. Obviously, this is about running, and um, running is my first love. I came to this through marathoning, but I think that multi-sport is a great way to train, to keep yourself excited, to train for different things, to put different goals out there. So I did my first last year. I came in under 10 hours and was really just thrilled with the whole experience. So that'll keep me coming back for more. What's another fact? Uh, So I've lived on Nantucket for 10 years now, and I didn't start running until I moved here. I grew up in New England playing hockey my whole childhood, and up here in New England, that's a full year sport. You're doing travel teams and high school teams and town teams, and it never ends. So I didn't take to running until after I moved to Nantucket. And it was kind of physical health, mental health, New Year's resolution, all the things you hear from everybody. Um, and I mean, it's totally changed my life. And I would recommend that anybody needs a push out the door. Just, we all underestimate what we can do in 5 years and we overestimate what we can do in a year, like just get out the door. It's worth it. And another thing people probably don't know about me, and I don't talk about it all that much, is that I have abstained from alcohol for, I think we're over 1,000 days. I don't think we're at 1,100 days yet. So I have been totally dry for coming up on 3 years, and that has been another phenomenal choice to make for longevity and endurance, and just whatever path you find yourself on, you can always make another choice and find yourself somewhere else. I think it's important that people know that.
Well, first of frickin' all, congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank
Like
you.
that is big time. So that's awesome, man. And um love hearing that because like you said, you can make another choice. It's kind of crazy. And it's sad to see so many careers and lives ruined by something that's tricky. I would
Yeah, yeah,
never,
absolutely. It can be a
yeah,
monkey on your back and you don't know how to deal with it, right? But
yeah.
you gotta ask for help and make better choices, and it's the hardest thing in the world, but it can be done, and there's people around you that want to help and want to support. So
Yeah.
reach out always.
Reach out, definitely. Like I said, I'll never, everybody goes through different struggles, and so it's never the right thing. And people do it, it's not the right thing to do is to say, oh, something so simple as this. Nah,
Yeah,
it's not simple. Everybody has a different mountain and a different valley that they have to overcome. So kudos to you, and definitely hope that people take inspiration from your journey that you could
thank
do
you.
it. Listen, you can run double Boston too. It's just another incentive
It
to
doesn't
go out and
hurt.
do. It does not hurt.
Yeah.
I will go back to your first point about being a multi-sport athlete.
Hmm.
You, I played different sports,
Hmm.
and it's so funny. Before I, got into covering track and field and running, I used to cover college football. And
Hmm.
used to, one of my jobs was, high school recruits, and even before then, I would do a little high school football. It was amazing to see, and then I was coaching track as well, and I saw in that it was
Hmm.
amazing to see the athletes who concentrated on one sport year round versus the athletes who played two to three and sometimes even four different sports. Even if it wasn't
Yep.
a team sport, just going out on the street playing basketball. Like the basketball players did incredible things on the football field. The people who
Hmm.
ran track, the people who played baseball, um, some of the best wide receivers. I'm a big Ohio State fan. That's the team I covered, team I grew up watching. Chris Olave, one of the best receivers in the team's history, was a baseball player. He was
Hmm.
an outfielder, and one of the reasons I heard Nick Saban say he likes to recruit baseball players is because they could track the ball,
Hmm.
a little bit better than, different people. Hockey players, lacrosse players. Like there's so much versatility, and then you can learn something new in each sport that you get a chance to participate in. And like you said, it keeps the fire going. I
Hmm.
love, I was on the weightlifting team, loved it, but it helped me with track. It gave me
Hmm.
quicker feet so I could have more power underneath the bar. So, um, love that you said that because I think that's something that's missing um, when it
It's
comes to.
definitely true in youth sports too. We see kids
Yeah.
specialize too early and they get burnt out, and then by the time they should be peaking, they're already over it. And it's true across the country. And so, yeah, you need to have new ways for your brain to play, or you got to mix it up, certainly, and changing your modalities and different types of movement is crucial for ligament and muscle strength and all of the things that like healthy bodies need to keep going. And it's all about longevity, right? We're here, we want to be here for the long term. So that's what it is.
I had a coach tell me I'm not going to put the state on blast, and it's not my state of Florida, but he said I prefer to recruit kids from other states because this state they start out great, but they tap out at their potential
Yep.
rate is much different.
Yep.
Like those, what you see is kind of what you get, and it could be
Mm,
great. And there's a lot of people, it's been great, but it's been better for the people who play different sports.
mm,
So I'm with
totally.
that. How big are you into New England sports?
Um, so my dad is like a diehard Patriots fan. I didn't necessarily inherit that gene. I grew up watching it. But I don't follow too much anymore. Huge Bruins fan when I was a kid, but now I followed a lot of professional runners and professional coaches and stuff. That's my main interest right now, triathlon and marathon and ultra. Yeah.
So you follow the right sports. I'm like that.
Yeah. We
So
got plenty of great ultra runners.
for sure.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so funny, man. I hated the Patriots.
Valid.
Um,
Totally valid.
but my cousin plays in the NFL
Hmm.
and he just got signed by the Patriots. So it's like oh man.
Ah, you're gonna have to
Um,
dust that shirt off. Oh,
man, yeah,
break
whatever.
out the jersey.
Yeah, that's not gonna they don't have one that fits me. So
Yeah.
that's
Does your cousin, you guys have the same last name? Can you get a good one with your name on it? I mean, that's the dream, right? Probably not a Patriots jersey. You don't want that.
no. So
You don't want that anyways. Yeah.
I would say this is funny. He played with Tom Brady
Yeah.
down in Tampa Bay, and now he's playing with Bill Belichick. So it's kind of like the circle of life in the
Oh
New England
man.
tree.
It's just something for everybody. It's all
Yeah,
your
so
favorite people, right?
I'll get a hat and
Yeah.
just keep it in storage
Yeah.
and
There
everything.
was a there was a guy with the last name Denoyer that either was or was going to be picked for the Bruins, and that was like
He was
real
a
exciting. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so I gotta get my hands on one of those.
So funny story. I was doing research for this podcast,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm looking everything up, and I couldn't find anything on you. I just found all these things from this hockey player.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Also,
That's funny.
he has hands too, because I saw a couple fights, and
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
he's
Don't mess with us, man. It's in the blood.
don't don't mess with the Desnoyers. Listen, because you may not make it back the same way you came in. Speaking of Nantucket, Nantucket's a little different than most places, specifically as you were saying, it's flat. Now you've ran a
Mm,
bunch of races
mm.
um, in Nantucket. How was training? What was training like? Trying to get ready for what Boston and Heartbreak
Sure,
Hill and everything had to offer. Like, how do you
sure.
adjust your training to that?
So like try to dial up the specificity for double Boston and not just do a standard marathon block, quote unquote standard marathon block. And spend as much time hitting the pavement as possible. Like typically through a block, I'll get my long runs off on the dirt, and we got plenty of great trails out here through the Conservation Foundation, the Land Bank, and the Autobahn. There's a lot of public land, a lot of great open trails. And so that's good for hills and lateral stability and all the trail stuff. For Double Boston specifically, I just tried to stay on the pavement as much as possible. And I was doing back-to-back long runs, Saturday, Sunday long runs, 20, 25 miles Saturday, 20, 25 miles Sunday, right? Just kind of mimicking what the task is going to be, which is two separate marathons. Um, And yeah, as much time on the pavement as possible. My wife and I recently took a trip down to St. Kitts and Nevis in the
Mhm.
Caribbean,
Yeah.
with a bunch of our friends to do a big open water swim down there. And so while I was down there, I was able to go out and I did a couple of fastest known time attempts while I was down there. And I did a big circumnavigation of St. Kitts, which was about 31 and a half miles. And that was a lot of, it was 2,000 feet of elevation on the 31 and a half. And so doing that was like the peak. That was like the keystone of my training after the big part of the build. Uh,
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And we were down there. I mean, the swim we were down there for was incredible. You swim from one island to the other island, and it was unbelievable. Um, but yeah, that was another good part of the training was that I was able to get some hills on an island that actually has some hills because Nantucket is pretty flat. Otherwise, you are kind of doing loops of some of the same roads. I run with a run group out here, so we're always just getting together and putting away miles, doing loops in places and out on different trails and properties. So we like to mix it up.
well, let me ask you this. What is it like? What is the Nantucket running community like?
Um, so I was lone wolfing it for a few years when I first came to running, and I think it was right. It must have been the spring of 21 that my wife and I, Sarah, started going to what they call the Brant Point Runners, which is a weekly 5K that happens in town, and it's been going on since the 90s, and it's free, and you just show up, and it's timed, and you get your name in the paper. Real local grassroots thing. It's currently put on by Nantucket Run Center, which is our specialty run store out here on
Okay.
Nantucket. Um, and my wife had signed up for that was the year they did Boston in the fall, and that was going to be
Mm.
my wife's first Boston in 2021. And so we really like dove in head first. We're like, okay, well, these people are running 3 times a week. So if that's what it takes for us to get out the door on a like really keep a strict routine, then that's going to be the easiest way to stack mileage. Um, and we were, welcomed in with open arms. He was like, oh, you're training for this, you're training for this, you're doing that. Everybody is so excited to be there. And throughout the year, there's a number of different shorter distance races on Nantucket where you can kind of hone your speed a little bit or do some trail running. There's a half marathon out here. There's trail 10K, which is like feels like a real cross country race. That's the race for open space done with the Conservation Foundation. And then a handful of 5Ks here and there, charity 5Ks. Um, but the community is really tight knit because it's a small community in general. So you're always bumping into the same people all the time. And so you just, you thrive, you live. Everybody's great. Everybody's excited for the next thing. We had a handful of people in our run group who were also doing Boston that we stopped and took a photo, like not related with trail animals, but our monument running group, which is the Nantucket running group. We all got together in Boston and took a picture as well. So it was a lot of fun.
Last little series of
There you go.
questions, not even series. Let's talk about some shoes. So
Sure.
let me see if I have it. So these puppies, they are the Mount Coast. This is C1. Um, I advise if you're watching this on YouTube, please. I ran in these yesterday and a little dirt on them, but I love these freaking shoes. These are the ones, and I want you to give insight to it that you guys got a chance to pop
hmm
out and
hmm
run in. Tell me, like, from your vantage point, tell me about those shoes. Like, obviously they did the job, but what did you
Yeah.
like about them? Like, and you've
Yep.
run in a few, you told me earlier you have run um
Yep. Yep.
with
So
that brand before.
before this whole thing was pieced together, I had run in a pair of R1s that I still have. They have 800 miles on them and they still run. I put a 20 miler on them not that long ago. I've run in the H1s, which I love. I did that 100K last fall in those H1s. They were phenomenal. And the C1s are kind of, for me, they kind of felt like a combination of those two things, where it's definitely a trainer shoe like the R1, but it has the toe box of the H1. It's a little more roomy in the front. You got some more space to be comfortable, which is important because as it's purportedly, it's a super trainer for ultra distances. You need a little more space. And as far as the foam and the outsole is concerned, it's got a lot of pop. I was a big fan. Am a big fan of the Asics Super Blast, and this is exactly that. Um, it feels just like that on your foot, like it's not there, and you have all the foam and all the cushion. It's a great shoe.
Have you tried the Super Blast 3?
I haven't had the three. My wife just ran in Boston in them, and she was like, loved it. But so we did, everybody in the group ran in the C1s. I did a sock change in the middle just because we were, pampering ourselves, but totally unnecessary. Didn't think about the shoes once. They felt great. We had a pair that they sent to us straight from the factory that we were training in before the race, and I probably put about 200 miles on that pair, so I knew what I was in for on the day of. So I just took that brand new pair of C1s that they gave us for race day. I took the paper out, I put them on my feet, and I ran the double. I didn't put, they were right out the box.
Man. But here's the thing, excuse me, here's the thing. There is no adjustment period to those shoes.
Nope,
Like, I
nope,
got mine, put them on, took off, and I was just mind blown
yep,
at the quality of the shoe. It is so light.
yep,
It is probably one of the lightest shoes that I've ever put on my feet. Like you said, it has the wide toe box. It has a laceless option. Like if you like a traditional, shoelace, cool. But I was blown away. And so I was thinking about like, okay, what shoe? I actually put this before the Lord in prayer. I'm like, what am I supposed to race in? And then these
yeah,
were just
yeah, yeah.
godsend.
So I
Uh,
will say that you can go fast and short in the C1 as well. My wife and I were down in Fort Myers at the beginning of March, and we did the Fort Myers half around what was it, Gulf Coast College there.
Water Gulf Coast, yeah.
And I did sub 125 in a half marathon in those shoes. They're not just a long shoe, like they respond really well to
Yes.
turnover.
I've done some speed stuff in those too, and I was just, you know, oh my goodness. I was like, I was flying. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah.
could do
It's
this.
exciting. You put them on, you're like, this is awesome.
It is awesome. If
Yeah.
you ran around Florida Gulf Coast, that is the that is like if you've ever that was the nicest campus I've ever been on in my entire
Yeah.
life.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
it didn't
I
feel like
stuck
a
my head. I was looking at their pool. I was like, I can't believe this pool. This is unbelievable. Yeah.
oh my gosh, they were
Yeah.
taking us around the dorms. I was like, is this a dorm or like a luxury apartment
Right, right,
complex?
right. They just have condos on the water there.
Yes, like this is the basic dorm. I was like, oh my
I
gosh, no
thought
wonder
that
you
was so
guys.
funny. Yeah, I couldn't believe
Uh,
that. I
uh,
mean, that was a fun race. We were going down there for a family thing. We were going to go down to Fenway South and go catch a spring training game, and that just happened to be that weekend. So my wife and I hopped in, and my dad and stepmom did the 5K. Make it a family
yeah.
affair.
It's a family affair. You have survived the interrogation process. Now we are on to our last segment called Down the Home Stretch. I'm just going to ask you a couple rapid fire questions,
Sure,
and I want you to answer them to the best of your ability. Ready?
ready.
If there was a food to describe your personality, what would it be?
Uh, it could be pickle juice.
Oh,
Could
I
be
need to
pickle
hear this one.
juice, right? It's not for everybody, but if it's for you, you know.
It's for everybody if you have a cramp. I can tell you
Yeah,
that
that's
much.
fair.
Uh, but what is it about the pickle juice though? Is it that you got a little spice, not spicy, but like that acidic side that,
Yeah, yeah, it's a reality bites kind of thing.
hey, I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it at all. If there was a food that you could live with and food that you could live without, what would it be?
Couldn't live without.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I'm a big fan of peanut M&Ms. That's a pretty serious staple in my diet, honestly. That would be a tough
Uh,
one. It's
uh,
good because they're everywhere. You can't really run out of peanut M&Ms.
what about it that you would just toss? If any
Something that
food.
I don't want to try.
Yeah,
Don't ever want to try.
yeah.
I don't think I want to try sardines.
I'm with
Not
you on
interested.
that.
Yeah, nope,
What
nope.
is a
Don't want
food or a trend that you would bring back from the childhood?
it. when I was a
Or a TV show.
okay, well, when I was a kid, I'm a couple years older than you are, Dom. So I was watching a lot of animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and so they had these. They would call them Splinters Easy Pizzas, and it was basically you would just make a pizza on an English muffin,
I know what
and
you're
it's the
talking
greatest
about.
thing in the world. But it's like an instant hit of nostalgia for me, you know. So probably that.
Oh man. I passed by was it Hungry Man or whatever the case
Oh
might
yeah, yep,
be.
yep,
And
yep.
Stouffer's, man, oh man. For
It doesn't take a
250,
lot. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot to unlock the nostalgia.
listen, I still watch Rugrats and and all of those. That was it for me. Two more questions or three more
Yeah.
questions. If somebody would play you in a movie about your journey, who would be the actor?
Oh, I mean, geez. You ever see the show? I don't know the name of the guy that was in Vikings. You ever see that show?
I know who you're talking about. Let me look at
Yeah,
his
I don't know
name.
the name of his. I mean, I would love to say Matthew McConaughey, right? But I don't think it's him.
Travis Fimmel.
That's the guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've been told I look like him a lot.
it's the beard.
Yeah, yeah. It's the bright eyes and the lack of hair and the beard. Yeah.
Okay. Dream vacation spot.
Dream vacation spot, huh? Boy, that's a really interesting question. There's so many places to go. I would like to spend some time in the Philippines. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last
haven't
question,
made it
and
there
it
yet.
is, hey, listen, someday soon,
Yeah,
especially if
there's got to be a race there, right? What's there?
I think there is. Gosh,
Oh yeah, there's.
this is
I'm sure.
this has got me curious.
If it's
Last
not
question.
ultra, if it's not going to be ultra, I'm sure they have a triathlon of sorts I can find my way into.
I cannot pronounce any of these names, but there are four.
Yeah,
There are marathons, trail runs, triathlons.
it's got it
There's
all.
Dream Run 2026, the AIA Rock and Roll Running not series.
Oh,
And then this, I'm not going to pronounce it, but it starts with an S, and then they have a marathon in June.
okay. Well, we'll pencil it
So,
in.
so listen, we have to put that down in ink, man.
We got options.
Um, we got options. It's always good to have options. Last question, most important question to answer. Why does kindness matter to you?
Um, I think that kindness matters because it might be a small part of your day, but it could be a big part of somebody else's day. You could be, like why be minimizing when you could be uplifting? Like that's what we all need is to get brought along and bring people along with us. I think that, yeah, what could be small to you is huge to somebody else. So why not just extend the small effort of being kind? It doesn't take a lot. And that's obviously that's a mentality that I take to my coaching where I'm just tr as effusive and uplifting as possible. We're all doing amazing things and we all have things we could do better. But yeah, I mean, it's important to be kind because the world needs kindness. There's enough other things out there that the only thing that's going to make it better is being kind to each other.
If someone is looking for a coach, where can they find you? Who can they find?
So the name of my coaching business is Tidal Endurance. So that's Tidal, and you can find me at tidalendurance.com or Tidal Endurance on Instagram. And you can send me an email or reach out through direct message there. And I would love to hear from anybody that has any questions about the double or anybody that has any questions about coaching and where they want to head.
Listen, all thriller, no filler. The legend from Nantucket is here and balled out once again. Dave, I appreciate you, boss man. Thank you all for listening. Love, peace, and chicken grease. We'll catch you next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tom.